Hello everybody, and welcome back to the LJL officially unofficial cast. I'm Alex, otherwise known as Lexi. I go by Master One. I'm of course joined by the insatiable, the amazing, just irresistible Hapgood brothers, initialized in Nymera. As always, as I say, please introduce yourselves.
Wouldn't go that far. I mean, like, I haven't even dressed up.
I definitely.
I'll not even put the effort in now.
Exactly. That's how great we are. Don't have to put the effort in. It's just there.
Well, welcome, gentlemen. Back to week 7, game 2 of the LJL, and we've got an exciting one coming here with Sengoku a little bit licking their wounds a little bit after that
Getting smashed.
Yeah. Wasn't pleasant. Facing off against Burning Core, who, when they did previously face, as only these teams do face off twice, it was in Burning Core's favor, and it was rather a bloodbath as well, as 19 kills to Burning Core, 5 only to Sengoku. This was a game where Rayfaki honestly popped off, going 8-1-7 on his Gangplank, and Raki going 5-1-5 on his LeBlanc, and Yuhi going 5-0-10 on Aphelios.
Yeah, that was the game that we keep referring back to as Yuhi's best game so far this split. He had like a 4-man Graviton which locked up the entire team of Sengoku. They were already in the lead at that point, but it was a really flashy way to end the game. And Rayfaki showing why we really want him to pick Gangplank instead of Darius as well.
But post a pretty good mid-split results from Burning Core. He went 2-0 on a week or two. They've kind of fallen down a little bit more recently. Dropped a lot of games. I think they're on something like a 5-game losing streak.
Something like that, yeah.
It's pretty huge. They've been looking a little bit more lost. And outside of that 1, maybe 2 game from Yuhi where we've gone, wow, that was great, he's been a little bit quiet. We've seen Rayfaki kind of go towards the Darius, not look that good on it. We've seen Rocky, when he's not on the LeBlanc, look a little bit suspect sometimes.
In fairness, Rayfaki did solo kill Ebby.
Oh, he did. That was pretty damn cool.
Like, the rest of the game was kind of meh, but he did alright. Like, in that moment, it's pretty good.
We see why he does love that champion. But we need to see Burning Core step up in this last week, kind of pull it all together in these last 2 games of the week. They've got 2 in a row, and if they don't pull out these wins, they're done.
Very true. So, and Burning Core, this is really all to play for, as you said. They are sitting at the very bottom of the table, tied with the Hawks. So losing this basically kills any form of chance. So this is win or die, basically, for them. And right, to be honest, everybody else would much rather see them lose. Because then that then locks up their place. Sengoku are basically a gatekeeper, and there are 2 chances for this gatekeeping. Sengoku are the first one, and this loss, if it did happen for the Burning Core, they're out. That's it. But
so yeah, I just want to say, like, you say that, but after that last game, it feels like someone left the gate open because Sengoku Gaming did lose in pretty emphatic fashion.
Shirking the guard duty.
Indeed, and like there is something to that maybe this is Burning Core's best opportunity, catching Sengoku on potentially a day when they're looking a little bit out of sorts, when they have just gone down. This might be an opportunity for them.
Yeah, it really might be. I think I want to just highlight that top lane we already started talking about of Rayfaki facing off against Apperman. Apperman had arguably his first mediocre to bad game. This was a bad game for Apperman. He's not had one really in the whole split. Even when Sengoku have kind of had lackluster, he's still been aggressively split pushing and trying to at least apply some pressure to teams when the rest of the team is flummoxing in my eyes.
He has been good. I've seen 1 bad Ornn game from the guy. That was the only other one where I remember he missed a couple key ultimates. But apart from that, yeah, he's been very consistent.
But he's facing off against our favourite over here on the cast, one of our top laners in Rayfaki. And that's a matchup which is exciting to see.
Absolutely is. So, going back to a couple of the stats, because I'm actually starting to look at stats a little bit more now. We've kind of got a bit more of a flashback
to work with.
So the GPM between these 2 top laners, I want you to have a guess, Lexi, because he's already seen it on the screen. Have a guess at the difference in the gold earned between these 2. Gold per minute, GPM.
What's an average? Could I get an average so I vaguely know what I need to be looking at?
I'll say that one of them is on 371 gold per minute. So what's the other? What's the difference from that?
371 a minute. I'm guessing it's probably Rayfaki has more.
He actually doesn't.
Okay.
But it's only by 1 gold.
Oh my god.
GPM. Wow.
So Rayfaki's on 371 GPM, whereas Apperman is on 372. do. They are very close in gold.
Wow.
They are, yeah, it's ridiculously close. These guys play so very differently in a lot of ways. Ray Farkey does tend to roll into team fights. Some point goes, hey, what up? With his 3-item GP and
I'm
stuff.
the carry.
I'm here. Whereas Afterman has been going back to stuff like the Gnar, like we were saying, like Yorick a bit earlier in the split. He loves to kind
Oof,
of be on
that
his own a
Yorick
bit
game.
more.
I want it back.
We want it back. So I'd love to see some fireworks display between these two. We look on the other side of the map though. We look at Yutori Miyashi.
Okay, down that bot lane.
You look at the GPM between them. Yuhi's the lowest GPM AD carry in the league. He really doesn't do much. He doesn't get prioritized much. He's also the lowest kill participation AD carry, whereas Yutori Miyashi, as we were saying, was the highest. So this is going to be a diametrically opposed type of team matchup rather. So we're looking to see whether Yutori Miyashi can get into the thick of things, get really fed, start closing out these team fights, or Ray Farkey starts popping off.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a lot to decide. Let's go into this pick and ban phase and truly see where these teams are going to be playing. In 3, 2, 1, let's go into this game.
As always, a pleasure talking with you, Mass Swan. But for now, we are into Champ Select.
I enjoyed it more when you said Blast from the Past.
I know, you didn't say it this time.
Yeah.
What a disappointment.
We
treading over traditions in this LJL officially unofficial cast. He's broken my heart. But either way, Burning Coal will be on the blue side, and it's Ray Farkey in the top lane. Once in the jungle, Rocky in mid lane, Yuhi has their AD carry, and Proud is support.
And for the second time today, over on the red side, we have Sengoku Gaming, Apperman in the top lane, Blank in the jungle, Purian in the mid lane, Yutori Miyashi as the AD carry, and NT as his support.
And a number of bans have come through already. Olaf and Rumble taken off the board by Burning Core, and Jarvan and Yumi taken off the board by Sengoku Gaming.
Okay, so Aphelios, Senna, and Ornn are all up. One of these will get through the ban phase. Ornn is banned away from Burning Core. Don't want to have Ray Farkey on Ornn duty this game.
They want him on something that can carry.
I'd imagine that Sengoku want to ban out the Aphelios. It is Yuhi's best champion, which leaves the Senna up and available if they do want to play that. But normally Yuhi's not the guy that they play around, as we were saying.
I also want to keep my eyes on Once. This guy has been a mercurial, brilliant star in the early game, but has occasionally thrown the team into fights they weren't prepared for come mid-game. So I have a lot of faith in this jungle. There's a lot of power there. At least taken off the board. I understand it.
I assume this is going to be an Aphelios first pick, and I'd really like Sengoku to lock in either Senna and the support or Senna and LeBlanc. Those would be the two picks I'd really want from Sengoku right now, unless Burning Core wants to take away either of those picks as his first pick. Okay, so that's fine. That's right.
So that makes a lot of sense. Is flexible. We did, of course, see in the last game Ninja running in the mid lane to pretty good success. And Sengoku Gaming maybe having slight flashbacks to their previous games.
The LeBlanc is available this time, though. It was first banned. Well, it was in the first round of bans from Rascal Jester. I think that was a very insightful ban against Sengoku. Purian really loves that pick. So I'd like to see LeBlanc picked up. He's being hovered right now. I'd also really like to see either the Aphelios or the Senna.
Well, the man learned under Faker himself. If there's a LeBlanc player who wants to get experience against, Faker is probably right up there. And it is locked in. See what Blank is going to pick for Sengoku Gaming now as their second pick. You were suggesting potentially a Senna?
I think the Aphelios is a better takeaway from Yuhi.
That makes sense.
Normally I'd say, oh, you're starting actually really good at that pick, right? But taking away from Yuhi, normally probably it's his best pick. And we did talk about the difference between these AD carries in terms of their style.
Not to potentially haunt you to games best not remembered.
No,
but in Sengoku Gaming versus V3, it was Yutori Miyashi on that Aphelios that went like 8-0 and 3, put out like 1.2k damage a minute. Yutori Miyashi knows how to play this champion. He can put out mad damage on it. On the other side, though, Burning Core have defaulted back to the Senna. I'm assuming that'll be a Tom Kench pick here then.
Unless so Jarvan's already banned, so a lot of the team fight junglers. Well, they could lock in a jungler here, but probably a good support for the Senna wouldn't go amiss. Could lock in something like the Braum, could lock in the Tom Kench like you were saying. There are a number of picks, because you do want something that ends up getting farmed. It could also be the Tarek. It's the Lee Sin locked in though, once, as you were saying, the many adjectives thrown towards his name. Very good low jungler, I like to keep it simple. So Sengoku, they are left with a couple of options themselves. Do they answer in kind into the jungle? Do they lock up a support and then ban away good matchups for the Senna? Because I think Sengoku probably want to ban away like Tom Kench, Tarek in the second round. It's what they want to lock in right now.
Until we saw Boogie on Lee Sin, I was going to say yesterday, but on week 6. I would have said that once his 9-1 and 10 Lee Sin game was the best Lee Sin game we've seen. Potentially Boogie overtook that the other day, but he's been phenomenal on this champion. I know he was so good. The dude was a monster, ran over the game. Either way, it is, of course, the Thresh we were talking about. It does keep Aphelios safe.
Aphelios Thresh is a very, very good lane, because if you have grabbed him into the hook, or the hook into grabbed him, it's just all sorts of damage. Time Gadget, I want to see the Tarek ban as well. We'll see what Burning Core want to focus out. Might end up being top lane as well. It's probably going to be junglers at this rate, because they already have the Lee Sin. Probably ban away something like, I don't know, the Rek'Sai, and then maybe the Gragas as well.
There's also the potential, of course, that if Proud fancies it, we have seen occasionally the dark technology of AP Nautilus support alongside the Senna.
Oh, true. Yeah,
who can, with the extra gold, kind of AP Nautilus does get kind of to decent threat range on a couple items, which you can get pretty easily.
I guess the Tarek is pretty good again with Senna when you're running something like a Jarvan, because it's just the all-in kind of thing. The Nautilus is a fine ban as well. I kind of forgot that you normally run it alongside the Jarvan, which was the first, well, one of the first bans from Sengoku over on the red side there. So Burning Court left with their final ban now. I would like to see Gragas banned. I think that's the ban I'd like to see. It's a Kale ban instead. Apperman has occasionally played that into the set matchup. Not normally a very successful champion here in the LJL, but the stuff like the GP is still available as well if he does want to pick a scaling matchup.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think you're going back to it. They are focused very hard on this Pantheon. And it will be, but well, Pantheon is also a flex, so it could be going to the jungle for blank, so it'll be last pick, either mid or jungle. I'm kind of okay with it.
No, I just saw it and I just had the PTSD.
And there is still, of course, that element of they are trying to push things. Burning Core, we were saying Sengoku Gaming locked in second, willing to be a little bit more experimental, maybe. Locks in the Sylas. All right.
So Sylas is pretty okay into the LeBlanc if you are skilled at the matchup. It is a skill matchup, being able to dash forward and then go forward with the Kingslayer as well, lock him up with the Obsidian Abduct, amongst other things. Hovering over various other picks now up Burning Core. It's going to be Shen support. That is very different from what we've seen from the LJL so far. This will be our first Shen pick of the entire split, in fact. We did see this in the playoffs last split, but it wasn't in the support. It was in the top lane from Nap, who is now on Crass Gaming, obviously.
Ooh, thinking about an Aurelia mid here, or potentially an Aurelia mid. Sorry, it'll be Pantheon jungle rather, won't it? So that's going to be
jungle or top.
Jungle or top. Thinking, it is going to be jungle. Nah, back over for the side of Apperman. Thank you for correcting me there. I kind of forgotten, having talked quite extensively about it, that there was the LeBlanc first pick from Sengoku Gaming. I was like, it's definitely going to be. I think probably because I was getting PTSD back to the game before as well. But either way, Blank will be on the Pantheon. Very early aggression, can dive really hard. LeBlanc, Nah, and Aphelios Thresh, all good lanes for that Pantheon to be ganking. On the other side, though, we're looking, I suspect, at a Sylas mid, and of course the Senna Shen.
The dangerous thing here is that so Nah had a buff to his AP ratio on his ult. He did have a very slight one before. It's now quite large. Guess who can steal and use AP on that Nah ult? It's the Sylas. He doesn't even need to wait for the Mega Nah. Rocky, if he ends up stealing that Mega Nah and gets into the backline and just gets a full team just wabang, that could be team fight over at that point. It was a really big buff. It's like 0.5 AP ratio or more than that. It's quite a lot.
It's huge. And like that was the last pick, and they knew what they were picking into, and we've always known that Sylas in particular is so good into the Nah, because he can use Nah's ultimate so much more freely than Nah can. And that can be really powerful. So let's have a look at some of these rosters. We're looking at fairly heavy team fight come skirmish comp from Burning Core, wanting to use the Shen Stand United on top of some early power forward, some early playmaking opportunities from a Set, from a Lee Sim, from a Sylas. Whereas on the other side, we've got very aggressive dive and gank combos between a Pantheon and lanes that he is more than happy to be set up with.
Indeed. So yeah, we see a lot of ability to split the map from Sengoku. They have the Grand Starfall. They'll have a split pushing LeBlanc with TP probably, and then also the Nah as well. So they have options to go between those lanes. And then there's the pick from the Thresh and the Aphelios too. So if Burning Core do not set their distances right, if they don't have the vision control and they walk into something, they could be getting removed very quickly. Oh, it's Omni Stone LeBlanc.
I've not seen that.
I have never seen that.
Well, okay. Theory craft this with me. Why is Omni Stone potentially a really powerful one for LeBlanc, or is this just a bit of an unusual choice?
It's not good.
It's not okay.
I'm pretty sure it's not good.
We'll have to see.
There's the chance you unlock a Predator. There's a chance you unlock a Dark Harvest. Normally, you want to go Omnistone on champions which don't really care about their summoners. LeBlanc does really like Electrocute. She really likes it. She procs it with a QW and stuff like that. She is going for these really big poke trades. It can change the way that you play certain trades.
Yeah.
But she's not a person who particularly likes using stuff like Fleet Foot. Fleet Foot works kind of meh on her. You also have, like, all of the precision ones are kind of whatever, really, because she's not an auto-attacker. So anything like Halo Blades, press the attack, lead the tempo, not the best thing for her. She wants a burst one, really. And that kind of invalidates half of the things that you're going to get.
Yeah, so it is a bit of a risky rune choice there, that Keystone. An unusual choice for LeBlanc, but we'll see how it plays out. Initial thoughts from Mr. Analyst over here is probably a bit risky, not sure about it. Either way, it is a red buff start for Lee Sin, who's going to move straight over to his blue side, whereas it is a red side start for Pantheon as well, though he's going towards his Krugs, probably going for a level 3 start up there, so I think we might see both junglers turning up at this top lane very early on.
Definitely see that blank very quickly making his way up to the Krugs, as you were saying. And I was wrong, by the way, it's like 100, it's a 1.5, like, hit ratio if it hits into the wall. With the Mega Gnarl, I think it is. The increased damage if you do end up hitting into the wall. It's a lot of damage. We see the Twitter vote coming out. This time, not so confident in the Sengoku side, but still a healthy 2/3 lead over Burning Core.
Yeah, there is a lot to go on here. That dedication for the Burning Core fan group has been seen before. They have got a fairly significant fan group. They did look pretty good the last couple of splits. They've been around for a long time.
They had a real hot streak as well. They started okay. It went on to have a very strong kind of middle-late section of the LJL split, and then had a bit of a downturn the last couple of weeks, it has to be said. They're now starting 4-8. They are on the lower bracket, well, the lower group of teams as in terms of looking towards this playoff race. They're looking to pick up a win, bring themselves back up into playoff contention, and see if they can snipe a spot.
Yeah, and that there are at least 2 losses that Burning Core are going to feel really sad about. There was 1 or 2 that just came off some frustrating back. Like in front of Sengoku, Blank is here, looking at potentially getting a dive off. Yuhi is so damn low. There's a lot to go for. The Comet Spear is on cooldown, but remember, there's still that point and click CC. That last embrace misses. Here comes the TP.
There's 4 people
here. There's 4 people here. Sengoku Gaming in so much trouble. Are they going to get first blood? They do, but it's going to get traded real fast. There's going to be Blank's about to go down. Once got the Sonic Wave here.
Wait,
he's going to get one back. And Pyrian is here somehow, somewhere he teleported in. But now, once desperate to get onto Yutori Mayashi, it is a 2-for-1 trade, even if the side of Sengoku Gaming did get first blood.
Did indeed. Well, with the onslaught and the conquer from Yutori Mayashi, he does manage to sustain his way through once his little trade there onto him. There was a 4-man fight at like 3 minutes in the bot lane. This is what teleport does to games. This is what it does.
Yeah, we may not be the LPL, but we're trying to emulate it here. Let's look at this replay one more time. Good early ward on that push, by the way.
That's a good early ward from Burning Core there. The hook lands and the ignite is committed. The heal's actually used over the ignite. That's why it does have the reduced value there. Yuhi left it really low HP. I think if that Comet Spear lands, they might have just flashed forward and tried to go for it immediately. But with the taunt available from Proud, used there, as you can see, does end up putting NC into Tower. Rocky with a great teleport into the bot lane brush as well. Pyrian comes a bit later. Has wow, Fleet Footwork, the best of some runes there. Didn't end up affecting the fight very much. Takes a couple of chunks and gets out with his life at least. Didn't even have to blend the flash, so a bit of a zero-sum play for Pyrian.
Yeah, it is, however, early gold advantage just about Sengoku Gaming, about 100-ish. Yeah, it's the first blood and it's CS. So there are a lot of summoners burnt on pretty much everywhere, but the flash taunt for Proud is still available. Once has still got his flash, so when he hits level 6, can definitely find some Dragon's Kicks here. But that's another good hook under tower. Proud takes a bit of damage, but of course, Senna is here, able to heal up Proud very swiftly.
Hooray for Senna, does the Q thing and then just kind of sustain.
There's bitterness in that.
No, that's
okay. You okay there, buddy? Tell me about it.
Give me 200 years, I'll be fine. We see Yuhi just backing off the tower there. Didn't want to get caught by our follow-up hook. One of the things about Thresh that if you do land the hook, obviously it does give you a little bit of a decreased cooldown. Rocky and Pyrian trading back there. Has lethal tempo now, the best summoner for LeBlanc in the game. Actually, LeBlanc actually has pretty high AD, so
you'll be alright. You can make it work.
I wouldn't necessarily want to see that in a team fight, though, against Yuhi, where he just kind of trades auto attacks and loses all of his HP bar. So,
attack. Either way, Blank is going to use this early bot lane pressure to go for an early Drake. And whether or not it matters, too much in terms of how the kills went, it does mean that there's a fairly significant CS lead down that bot. So remember, you got to count the AD to the support in these lanes, and it is 40-28 currently.
Level 6 hit by top laners here.
Wow.
Once just having a look in here, not committing to anything yet.
Would be a
Meganar is
risk.
available, so the double hop is no longer there. Once making his way around the back, I'm going to hand this over to you.
Thank
What do
you. It's a
think?
pleasure. Flash face
Aw.
break. That means he's going to go straight back. He's a long way from the tower. He uses the Meganar there very early. The wallop's pretty good. The flash is there.
Oh,
And
he
the Sonic
dodges
Wave
it.
misses, but it's a good ward hop forwards. I think Apperman might still go down here. He's under
The fleet footwork!
tower.
The fleet footwork gives him the boost speed and the
Clutch.
heal. He just about gets away with that.
Might not be brilliant on LeBlanc, but his clutch on the Gnar. You thought he was done, but once didn't have level 6, so wasn't able to have the Dragon's Kick or Dragon's Rage available. Means he does get out, does burn his flash, but Rayfarky burnt his as well.
It's a pretty opportunistic trade there from Apperman. He really feels lucky getting out with his life there. Had his initial crunch, the Meganar hop, interrupted by a flash facebreaker, and then with once coming in for the extra bit of damage, thought he was dead to rights really, but ended up getting away with the extra move speed from Hyperprox and the Fleet Footwork as well. It's a game of inches. We do say that quite a lot in the League of Legends scene, and
Those
yes,
inches mattered
they
there.
mattered there. Dodging out on the Sonic Wave was particularly key.
Yes. It was a nice attempt by once. It was a good attempt by Rayfarky, but the tankiness from Meganar was there. It was a good throwback onto Rayfarky to keep him away. It was a good wallop to stun Lee Sin in place, and the missed Sonic Wave was so key.
It was, but it was also a good dodge from Apperman.
Yeah, it was.
So-
Good for all credit to Adman for coming out on top in that one. Last game he kind of got put in the dumpster a little bit by
A
some of
little
those
bit,
early games.
a little bit, 0-4 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Not a good showing from him.
Yeah, but this time around does come out on top, clearly feeling a little bit better with the reset. He's back on the Gnar, looking a little bit more confident, but Once and Blank about to run into each other, but this time Once has got
Shift
to
to the
level
right.
6 first. Pantheon throwing the missing ping down and that kind of retreat ping. Once is here, but he's on vision. NT has
has
got
to-
himself a lantern if he needs to use it for his support, or rather his AD carry.
Unless you're gonna interrupt the lantern with the kick, there's no way that's gonna work out. He's still looking for it here.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah,
He has
it's a-
vision. Last embrace lands.
Does land. That might have been enough if Once had wanted to go real hard for it, but decides not to. And of course, double flash available for both Utorimiyashi and NT would have been tricky to truly commit to the kill.
Go hard or go home, and that's why Once is recalling.
Going
So,
home. Yeah,
he's going home.
That's
He's
fair
done with it. Done with the spot lane.
I get that.
Um,
It's important. Home
yeah.
is where the heart is, and
Home-
it's where all the items can be bought to.
True. Yes. I enjoy myself some home time. Spend some time with the dog.
Yeah, indeed it is.
On the parents too, I guess.
They're important.
That is kind of
I will say our puppy is pretty adorable.
pretty great.
Anyway,
We
moving
see
back on.
that Blank is back into the bot lane here as well. Last time didn't work out so well
But the
for
tower
Pantheon
pressure is huge. Look
It
at
is
the
pretty huge.
all
That's
those
3
tower-
plates down already.
That's
That's
massive.
so huge. At least it's not patch 10.5 where
Yeah.
you see-
Ooh.
Oh look,
Brilliant, takes
she's
it.
got electrocute.
Woo!
Big wave stacking up against Rocky there. Oh, and it's gone. Use the summoners and now it's gone as well. I mean, 15 CS lead, however, to Pyrion over here, so he's
Pretty
probably
good
pretty happy. It's gonna be Lee Sin looking once again into the top lane here. Meganar's popped again. He won't have the
There's
hop.
no flash. It's another fate. It's another showstopper. Good Gnar ult though, but the kick back I want to say from Lee Sin. He does try to hop into this bush to stop things going down, but there's
Well,
still a
again-
chilling.
oh my
smite.
god, he can't get
Good
out
double.
again.
No, the
Oh,
face
no.
breaker's there. He nearly managed it, but it means that Rayfarky does pick up the kill. Doing pretty well there. Once again, good mechanics from Upman to nearly make out, but he was too far forward.
But he's putting himself in situations where
No odds.
he has no right to survive anyway. Proud and Yuhi sticking around on this turret, but I think with the amount of demolish procs that NT's managed to get up on this tower has just whittled this structure down. It will probably end up being the first tower of the game because there's no real way that Burning Core can break that unless they want to commit the set into a teleport as well, but with no ultimate, that's unlikely to happen. But once we'll take down a Herald, that might change things.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted. I was going to bring up. There is
It's
still a
gonna be too late,
potential.
actually.
It's going to be too late because this tower is going to go down. On the other hand, though, that does mean at some point they might be able to get a fair amount of pressure onto a lane they wouldn't have otherwise.
Maybe they can open up a lane and get some plates over to Rayfarky, see if they can get him ahead in the matchup against. No, he has the kill to his name, but they're both stuck on kind of like Boots and Fade right now, so there's not a massive advantage. Obviously, it's Tabby to Brown Bags right now, but Afterman is still able to run away with the fleet footwork.
I also want to call out that sometime off screen, Yuhi did have to blow his flash. It would have been back up from the earlier gank, so I've got to assume that probably a good hook through from NT at some point. And that's a big deal, because while that first gank, in terms of kills, went pretty much the way of Burning Core, in terms of lane pressure, really did benefit Utorimashi and NT, who are well in control of that bot lane. It is nearly 40 CS the lead of Aphelios over Shen, and that is a big deal. He's got the Essence Reaver complete, is ready to be moving around. And yes, Appleman is struggling a little bit in this lane, has had a lot of focus at him. He's not at a point where...
solo lane he's been doing alright.
But
It's just that once has been timing his ganks very successfully.
Yeah, he has.
No, he's been timing his ganks, so he's going in as soon as Appleman hits Mega Narf. There's no chance of getting the move speed as he transforms back to Mini Narf, or using the double hop as well, hopping off a minion or an enemy to get the extra distance there.
Yeah. Pyrian had a clever little ward over just beyond the tri-brush in bot lane there that spotted out once coming in, so did know to back away from the control ward he was desperately trying to clean up. But that means that Blank and NT are going to be around to try and start up this Cloud, which will be the second of the game.
They got the first Ocean. They're gonna get they're probably gonna get the second one uncontested here, I'd imagine, just because the bot lane's not there. Shen does have ult if they did want to commit, but no angles into the pit. Good vision control from Sengoku will net them this second dragon. So it's a good early sack from them. Which rift is it going to be? It's going to be an Infernal.
That's a big one. Things like LeBlanc.
LeBlanc is very good at that.
All love Infernal. Blank wouldn't necessarily hate it either. Rift Herald summon top, looking for the trade here. It's already down to 2.5 plate mark. That is your sweet spot. It means that the true damage here will ignore all of those resistances and pick up the turret here. And Ray
evens up the gold, but yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, indeed it does even up the gold. It's now slightly to Burning Core, about 300 odd. But objectives in terms of Drake's definitely going the way of Sengoku Gaming.
Man, I have to say, this is why I really love the draft from Sengoku in terms of the AD carries, right? I really wanted Burning Core to first pick the Aphelios. I think that was so important to them. Leaving the set, taking the set as the first pick, meant that Yuhi didn't get his preferred AD carry. Utorimashi has been outclassing him so far.
Yes.
Utorimashi and NT have been just destroying this lane. They got the first turret. They got all plates in an isolated 2v2. I mean, there was the teleports and all this other stuff, but they got that without Herald. They got that without ridiculous amounts of plays being made. There was only one kill down there in that massive thing there. It's not like they got it through 2v2 kills. It's just through pressure.
Yeah, and it is an issue that, we have called out Yuhi as sometimes being a bit of a weakling for Burning Core. And when they want Ray Farky to be their win condition, that's all well and good, as long as Yuhi isn't becoming... I feel rude calling it a lose condition, but that's not quite fair either. But, if you need him to be relevant and doing damage, and that's very important for an AD carry.
Yuhi doesn't tend to be the guy that... Yuhi doesn't often, lose you a game straight up by getting caught. But, he does tend to be relatively safe, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's a pressure point, right?
No. And that can be a problem, because you do need that AD carry to be a pressure point as the game goes on. You don't necessarily...
nice.
Yeah, exactly. It can be quite important. Either way, though, once and Ray Farky about to put pressure somewhere else on the map.
Oh, there's no turret.
Good flash. Was clutch. Did not have a ward, so that was just off reactions, by the way.
And speaking about this pressure on turrets from the 2v2, the Crescendum turret goes down, the Demolish comes out, and that's another third of the HP for the mid-outer turret going down. We've seen this turret be...
over the wall, we're going to go in, it doesn't even matter, just gets deleted.
So, you know what we were saying about Yuhi, not often being the guy to get picked and, lose your stuff?
Did that
was a pretty bad showing that does kind of walk up with no support around him, gets hooked. Did have the flash available, didn't choose to flash away.
Rocky going to take a lot of trade damage here, and there's a Comet Spear coming in. A Grand Starfall, rather.
Hear me out. Maybe, what if he had Electrocute, though? Yeah, just hear me out. Maybe that would have been nice.
But Glacial Wizard's more slows could have kept something in place.
Wow.
What is going to happen, though? Mid lane turret does go down. We're going to take you away from the hate for the zombie zone.
At least it's not.
Come on, at least theorycraft it for me. Why would it be good? Come on, man. What reasons could you see to it being good?
Maybe you roll Predator when you want to go for a roam out a lane or something like that. So they did change the coding of Omnistone's rolls a little bit. So when in certain situations you are more likely to roll certain
power keystones.
So when there are lots of low enemies around, you're more likely to get something like Electrocute or Dark Harvest. When I'm trying to remember what the other ones are, but I think if it's if there are lots of melee champions... I can't remember. There are certain situations where Omnistone will roll preferable keystones and not roll others. If you don't have boots, obviously you can't roll Predator, stuff like that. Obviously now with Pyrian picking up the magical boots from the Inspiration Rune will be able to get that summoner, that rune. And I think the Predator could be quite important because being able to hop over walls, pop the speed boost as well, and then roam to one of these other lanes or other groups of people and catch someone out can be pretty big.
Yeah. So there you go. You heard it from the analyst. He's not a big, but there are potential.
There are potential because like if you can't expect what's coming up, neither can the enemy, and then like you just kind of roll with because obviously you get to know what this. If you're out of vision, you get to know what this the rune is before the enemy team. So if you come out of vision, it's like, oh, there's a Predator, and I'm like, wait, no one's got. Oh, it's the LeBlanc, right? There's a surprise factor to it. So it's kind of like that on the fly decision making. We're like, okay, right, we can do something with this rune. That it does the unexpected thing, which is why on certain champions where they don't necessarily care about the straight up power of the rune. Okay, whatever. We're going to drop that because the Herald's up. I'm going to see some stuff around here. And Grasp on the LeBlanc!
It's great. It could keep her healing up. It is going to be potentially a bit of a fight. Sengoku Gaming are here to contest. And you were going to let it go, and you just couldn't. All the ultimates available. Yutori Mayashi has got himself a Caliber. Ray Funky's by the great flank in the backline, though. What a good face breaker. He's going to take Yutori Mayashi, or Blank rather, into the middle of nowhere. He just dies. It means that this is going to be a Rift Herald over. Great flank from the set. So well played.
And as much as we were talking about Yuhi sometimes not being not being the best of carries for Burning Core, right through the pre-game, we were talking about how Rayfarky definitely was for them on the other side of the map. He comes in, gets a huge flash double face breaker there, does get the flash away from Yutori Miyashi as well, nets them the kill onto the jungler, and the Herald is going to slam into the mid lane turret. We see the Predator from the LeBlanc, which is going to do nothing.
Yeah, it is a little bit, but
it's going to do legit nothing.
It's not going to take down the Herald, though, but remember, once has started up this Infernal Drake, and Sengoku Gaming's Blank is not there. He does have ultimate. Do they want to contest? They're probably going to be too late to take the Drake, but they might look for a fight all the same. Proud taking a lot of damage from this LeBlanc, who does manage to blast cone out. They're going to look for a fight. Look, Rocky's over the back, and actually NT's cooking pretty fast.
He's got
Mega Knight. Look, there's the Grand Star. Rocky! Monster! But Yutori Mayashi has so much healing from that Severum ult. Does get himself back in the game. Apperman does miss his own. Because you've got to remember that AP Silas does work.
So, Apperman and Sengoku are like, Apperman's like, oh, can we have a Gnar ultimate? It says, well, we have a Gnar ultimate at home. Because, like, they're looking at, like, no, Rocky's Gnar ultimate, and then it's like, oh, but we already have one at home. And that was just Apperman's kind of, like, random one whiff into nothing there. Yeah. It does, so, the thing about Gnar ults is that if you're running out of Mega Gnar anyway, the cooldown on your ult is so low that you tend to get it by the next time. Well, you definitely get it by the time the exhaustion is over. So you may as well use it, even if it's just for wave clear or some menial extra thing. Going back into the replay here, Rayfarky is out of vision. They see Yutori Miyashi piling in. They see everyone else in the double pink ward. Whoo, double vision. They see everything kind of just grouping up in the river. They have great positioning here. Pyrian isn't there really in the great position to start counter-engaging, nor is Apperman grouped with the team as well. They take the 4v5, they get the first kill, and that secures them the Herald.
Yeah, it does. It's now 5-3 in the kills, but the gold lead is still in Sengoku Gaming's favor. It was good work from Burning Core to get 2 objectives and a kill out of that. Yes, they traded 1 kill back.
But the real winner was Pyrian picking up phase rush and running very quickly with a chain attached to the
Look!
I don't know.
That's a winner. That's a winner.
Wow!
Aftershock. I mean, Aftershock's probably not the worst, so you can at least proc it.
I mean, sure, cool.
You can. That's important. It is important. He doesn't have it anymore, though. It's gone. It's gone, man.
Oh no, the Aftershock is gone.
Let's look at the replay. What happened here in the bot lane?
Every time a new. Okay.
Oh boy. All right. Apperman walks into once, and that's just not a great start for the Gnar.
So I guess Blank is here on. Oh, it's the channel. Okay, right. I was like, there's a Pantheon who can ult in. Obviously, being able to answer that semi-global with 2 globals of their own in the center and the Shen, pretty good. The Dawning Shadow was just used from Yuhi, though.
Yep, and he does survive, but it did mean he had to burn that ultimate. One dive not gone the way of Sengoku Gaming. Even if Apperman got picked up there, you've got to remember that Yutori Miyashi is at a point of ridiculous power here. Yeah. Has himself 2 items. Yeah, that is such a big spot. Infernum with Hurricane and some crit behind it is a bit monstrous in those team
I want to see how many souls he's on, actually, because he's sat at not even a first completed item yet in terms of his gold, so he's going to need to have a whole lot of souls to make that pick worth it right now.
Yeah, he's 2 levels behind, of course, but that's just the way pseudo-support Senna is.
Stop hovering over Lee. I want to see the Senna souls.
Yeah, but either way, Lee at 2-0-3, actually, for once, having another good game.
He absolutely is. He's been pressuring Apperman on the sideline a lot, and then picked up the kills participation in that river fight as well. That was alongside, that second kill there onto the Gnar. Yeah, as we said, he does normally have these good early games. Built up the Black Cleaver already. This is pretty important this game because you have Ray Farkey with the Triforce. It means that if Lee Sin engages onto the first target, starts shredding their armor, the other AD carries on the team of Set and Senna will be doing a lot of damage to that target because they've gone for a more efficient damage build. Yuhi's just picked up the Umbral Glaive as well.
That's a big deal. And he's also got a stopwatch to his name as well, which might save him from some of these dives that have been kind of going his way. Point of pressure is the bot lane for Sengoku Gaming. Point of pressure on the other side is Once and Ray Farkey for Burning Core, who look pretty strong. And as Rocky's kind of slowly scaling up towards serious relevance, is on his way to Zhonya's Hourglass, and we said if he can just continually pick up this Nara ultimate in the fights, that 1.5 AP scaling,
absolutely
if he hits someone into a wall, is most of someone's health bar at whatever stage of the game.
So the thing about particularly Echo and Silas, that you don't build up the largest amount of AP because you go for the Protobell, Zhonya's Lichbane kind of thing. You know, those kind of items which are kind of, they are AP, they give you a decent amount, but they don't give you as high as a Ludens and Deathcap.
Yeah.
It means that the AP scaling sometimes aren't as relevant, but then you have kind of the extra tacked on ratios, right? Because Protobell has an AP ratio, Lichbane has an AP ratio, outside of you just the kit itself. But you know what I mean? Like, the Gnar doesn't build AP, so you're still going to do more damage than that guy over on the other side.
Yep, and of course, what a surprise! Appleman is going towards what looks to be, hang on, Giant Belts and Jorum's Fist. Where's that going?
Let's go towards Sterex.
It is it's Sterex on the Gnar.
Oh yeah, you can't because it's actually I don't know how it works with because you can build ranged items on Gnar. I'm trying to remember if you can build.
Would be good for Mega Gnar.
Yeah, you can.
Good for Mega Gnar.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can build Sterex on Gnar as well. He's one of those guys who has the exception with like being melee and ranged. He can build both items because he can build Hurricane even though he doesn't affect him when he's in mid on and stuff.
Yep. So we'll see where that goes. I was sort of seeing that. I was thinking, is he going towards something like the Frozen?
Oh no, it is Frozen Mallet. Yeah,
Frozen Mallet.
Yeah, so
would make a lot of sense.
No,
I was thinking
Sterex does not build out of those items.
I was thinking, I know Jorum's Fist. I was like, I don't think the Giant's Belt.
It's the same recipe as well, no, it's not the same as Hydra. It's got Jorum's Fist, a pickaxe. Oh, we see the ult committed from Yutomiyashi there.
Does get a fair amount of poke down onto you. He can heal himself back up to an extent, but this is before
Rocky has the
Infernal Soul fight. Yeah, he does have that.
And Pyrion has pressed the attack. The better thing to have. That's absolutely not true. It's just like,
it's not okay. Anyway, either way, we're looking at an Infernal Drake posture. Like Pyrion goes over.
Oh, look at those auto attacks.
Yeah, it's not fantastic. You are so tilted by this rune choice.
It does nothing. It does nothing.
All right. Look, the hook just shy of Yuhi, but the last embrace does land, but no one's going to follow up onto NT. That's a lantern over the wall to make sure that Yutomiyashi could get over the wall if he wanted, but he just doesn't bother. As Pyrion has got Glacial now, which for the slows can be a little bit more impactful in these fights.
Mega Gnar available to both teams very briefly here because Appleman is also there. I think Burning Core want to try and time that down as. But the thing is, this is starting to favor Sengoku if they wait and they get poked out.
And also, if Rocky doesn't get to use his Mega Gnar and it does time out, could be pretty
heavy. You can hold on to
those
ults for quite a long time.
So it depends whether that's what they're waiting for. They're just looking to get some mid lane priority. They're not in any rush currently. Blank is still in this river. Vision control in that space is very much Sengoku Gaming favored. Lots of control wards all over the place, giving them lots of vision as the top wave is pushing.
But okay, sideline's pushing in favor of Sengoku. A very important thing here is that a blue buff just got picked up by Pyrion. He can keep doing this for a while now.
Gravitum is huge.
Gravitum used.
Came back up, and here comes the Grand Starfall is coming in, but Ray Fuck is into the backline one, but the QSS from Yutomiyashi keeps him alive. There is no Mega Gnar, but Proud's taking a lot of damage. NT flashing out with the good box, but he does survive. Apperman now doing lots of work as Yutomiyashi is a monster alongside Blank. Comes through with some clutch Gravitums and Infernums does Yutomiyashi. It is the Comet Spear that claims the kill, but it's all on the back of this 80 carry damage.
I like how I talk about, Silas, he keeps those ults for a while. As soon as the fight breaks out, of course he doesn't have it, and I'm just proved kind of wrong. It's like, I guess they were timing up both Mega Gnars on both teams there. It's Sengoku which come out on top of that. They win the poke fight, they win the actual fight, and Proud is split pushing in the side lane. Commits the Ignite there, actually, very nearly bursting out Pyrion.
And of course, this is not as support as you would think of it. Titanic Hydra alongside a Barmy Cinder and, of course, the Ninja Tabi doing a fair amount of work there.
Right, so we see that the Mega Gnar is timed out on both sides here. Pyrion jumping forwards and back as Rocky is kind of he's kind of taken up on the side lane there. The Grand Starfall coming in. A lot of AoE abilities chosen from both sides there. Ray Farkey using the Haymaker early actually ends up being pretty important. Means that he can't stick around or have that shield to start turning around. And he goes down for the first kill of the fight.
Yep, he does. And that means that with the health bars very much in the favor of Sengoku Gaming, they get to pick up an Infernal Drake, puts them at Soul Point. Infernal Soul is lots of damage for the side of Sengoku Gaming. Would be a serious win condition as this game goes
At least
on.
this patch isn't on 10.5, because 10.5 we have Hydra buffs alongside the Balmy Cinders buff as well, which means that Shen would be even more powerful. Gives you more of that HP scaling on that item, but it's not come through yet onto the tournament realm patch right here.
And the thing which Senna being back in meta does allow is some of these supports which kind of want a bit more itemization can actually become significantly more of a threat. We're seeing Shen ironically become more of a split pusher because he can at this point.
Can. No, he absolutely can.
He's been given
level 12, so he's not. I mean, he's underleveled compared to the sideliners. He's not going to start. I was about to say he doesn't want to start one of your warning, but actually that's exactly what he did versus Pyrian. He found a pretty good opportunity to do that and forced Pyrian out of there. Pyrian just picked up the Predator, just going to pop that, start running back down towards the mid lane. I don't think anything's going to come of it. And Pyrian, as much as his rune choice does baffle me, has had a good game so far on the Blanc. Once again, around the objectives, he's showing that he can very much use this pick to its full extent. He's picked up the Banshee's Veil alongside the Merc Treads. That is one of the better builds, as we see actually a lot of chakrams coming through from Utorimashi. But when you pick up the Banshee's Veil onto LeBlanc, it means you can jump in and tank the first skill shot. It's not going to be immediately face break it into a wall and die. It gives you a lot more leeway and risky combos that you can start trying to commit towards the enemy team in the more pressure scenarios and start poking people out and start trying to get these one-shot kills. You still have lots of damage if you're ahead.
Yeah, and there's your keyword, right? LeBlanc as a poke champion, when she does have the opportunity to go with the Banshee Veil, can just throw it out.
So much damage.
He is, but he's doing just critical amounts.
Oh!
He's dead!
He just kills him!
That is Calibrum Crescendum combo just at its best. They're going to come in. Grand Starfall is here. Ray Farkey's in trouble. He's got a Haymaker shield, but that's it. He's going to use the Showstopper trying to get away. Sterak's is bad. But another Calibrum. Q hits, and that means that Yutori Miyoshi, now 3-0-3, is having the game of the split for him so far.
And they had a prayer, a dream, and also an electrocute on the LeBlanc. Pyrian coming through huge with that. The real winner of that fight. Once is found out on the other side of the map, and actually the Shen ult committed as well. That will be the end of the commit from Burning Core, or any chances to commit rather, towards trying to steal this Baron. It is going to go down for free against Sengoku, who are on they may have lost their win streak, but they haven't lost their identity, we'll say.
The old shogun of the bot lane for Japan, Yutori Miyoshi, is one of these all-star, all-time AD carries. Just look at this one more time.
So, Yutori Miyoshi puts down the turret. It hits everyone with all of his Hurricane Bolts as well. He gets the Conqueror stacked up super quickly here. Hits with the Calibrum ult, comes through with a plenty, it's like 3 or 4 chakrams on top of that as well. There's no armor built up from Yuhi, and, you know, level 14 Aphelios has a lot of different stuff. As, you know, the replay just kind of stops there, cool. But, you know, they didn't want to show what happens when LeBlanc actually has Electrocute.
It's a PG-13 stream.
PG-13, you can't show Electrocute on LeBlanc. Doesn't work that way.
And Yutori Miyoshi at 303, 306 CS, 3 items in QSS. Oh, yeah.
He's got a 1,000 gold shot down on him as well.
He's 3 levels up on Yuhi. It's not a surprise that Yuhi just disappeared. That massive level discrepancy is huge.
This game is bot difference.
He's 70 souls, by the way, this center.
70 souls at 28 minutes is very low. We normally see 80 souls or something like that around the mid-20 minutes. So he's behind very much so in gold, very much so in souls as well. At least there's a Sunfire and Titanic built up onto the support. That is what you are afforded by going the not carry, the fasting Senna. But this game, you know, this Shen is not going to be able to stand up against, you know, split push extraordinaire Na, who's doing pretty well, built up the Frozen Mallet and the Black Cleaver, or, you know, the 2-item LeBlanc as well, who is just doing fine for herself.
And your earlier engage options of flash showstoppers, of flash kicks, are so much hard to pull off when Yutori Miyoshi has flash himself and a QSS. You can QSS flash a lot of those abilities.
And if he has Severum as well, then, like, he just doesn't die.
Yeah.
He pretty much doesn't die. He gets the Overshield. Already has the shield from NT as well, because Thrashers nowadays tend to max Lantern second a lot of the time. It's less about the damage, more about actually having that immediate shield to plop on top of your AD carry. Give them the lower cooldown as well on that. Once not quite getting the red buff. Now there's a red buff on the Aphelios too.
And there's press the attack one more time for period.
Whatever, I'll forgive him, because you know he chose the right summoner for the last one. You know,
believed in the heart of the cards and came out on top that time around as a gambling man. Period. comes out with that one. There's a big split push in from the Nara as well. Burning Core are going to start.
Infernal Soul, but this is why they're rushing it. But they could be committing to a pretty bad fight. They're
Blank's
gonna
not
get
here.
the dragon.
Blank, no, he is just
Yes,
right
he is!
there. Oh, he's got his
Oh, he
dog around
doesn't get it.
because it is secured by once. And Pyrian does not die to the haymaker, even though it's good. But that's a big Nara in the backline. Once goes down, and it means the Ray Farky desperately. Oh man, Proud is trying to run away. Rocky trying to run away. He wasn't there in time, and Yutori Miyoshi desperately gonna try and come forward with these Calibrum Qs. Rocky does get out with a decent abduct, but that does mean the Baron, of course, is on for Sengoku Gaming.
No, it's the game on for them.
Yeah, they're
because
pushing.
There's 3 people dead. They teleport into the bot lane. They're going to take an inhib. Probably going to look for the end as well. They knew that if they didn't even get the soul, it's still going to be the game. It will be Sengoku going to 9 and 5 if these death timers don't stop him.
And it will be. I don't know whether they're even going to bother. They're so strong. Yutori Miyoshi is 5-0 and 4, and everyone else is ready to go. Conqueror on Pyrian, conquering their way towards a victory. It's going to end the split 9 and 5. They finish up here. Well done to Sengoku Gaming. Good win over Burning Core.
Padding the KDA a little bit by taking down once as the Nexus falls. We're going to head back over to the analyst desk. Lexi, what did you think of that Omnistone?
Well, questionable. Very questionable. I was nowhere near as tilted as it by you, Nymera, but I mean, I was definitely doing some spam question mark pings over the LeBlanc. That was definitely a questionable choice. But it didn't seem to matter. I mean, the whole side of Sengoku there really played very well. As you said, Yutori Muashi having the game of the split, really, from himself there. Always a beautiful thing to see him play that Aphelios. And Yuhi just kind of, well, almost, as you said, in the game, during commentary, really needs the Aphelios. They should have first picked the Aphelios, and then...
I think that's a draft error. It has to be such an error.
And then everything goes differently. I do want to give very big credit, though, to Ray Farky over on Burning Core. He played so well as a top player. Arguably the only player on their team which was their shining hope.
I think once did well.
Once did okay. I would agree with that. Once did okay, yeah. But Ray Farky played phenomenally. But the important thing is now... the next game is Burning Core versus the Hawks. These are our 2 bottom place teams. Now, arguably, Burning Core are even further down. The solution now, because this win really messes everything up. If Burning Core...
Core even make playoffs now?
So, Burning Core can only make playoffs if they tie break with another one of our teams that are currently in the 5 and 7 standing.
Okay.
That can only happen if one of those teams now goes 0 and 2... and Burning Core win against the Hawks, and then the Hawks lose their other games, or we'll have 3 teams going for a... I don't know what happens when 3 teams are trying to fight for a playoff spot. I assume it comes down to tiebreaker things.
So the way tiebreakers have worked with that in the past, particularly in Europe way back when, is that if you have 3 teams, it depends on average win time. The head-to-head doesn't actually matter between the 3, because you can have, like, 2 and 1, one side, 2 and 1, whatever, right?
And it would be picked out from the bottom 2 teams?
So then you have a best of 1 between... Well, you have a tiebreaker between the lower 2... No, the higher 2 win times, because like then the fastest win time is then kind of like the first seed. You have the other 2 play off, and then they go up and place that.
Okay.
So we could see... Wait, can we see... So are CJ and Axis playing each other? Have they already played each other twice? Let me just have a quick...
CJ and Axis, I do believe, have played each other. They're not on our schedule to play.
Oh,
no, they are. It's our second game. It's our 7th game of the day.
That very much increases the chances of having a tiebreaker, because if one of them loses a game going into that and then loses against the other team, they will be in that. Oh, that's huge.
Burning Core not down.
We've got some drama.
Yeah, Burning Core are down but not out. They've got to win this next game though. This is it. Like, and for Hawks as well. Like, they need this win as well. So it's a huge game at the bottom of the standings.
The loser is out. The loser is out of playoffs.
No, unless we
the Hawks can win.
Unless we get the 3-player playoffs, but that's incredibly unlikely to get 3 teams, all of them on the same standings, fighting for the 6th place spot. It would be unlikely, but I mean, that's how you keep things excited over here in the LJL. I mean, why not have everybody still fighting for the spot going into it and have playoffs just push back a little bit? We'll find out how that next game goes versus Burning Core facing off against the Hawk right after this break. Thank you so much for watching.